The shadows whisper about those who shine too bright. The unknown terrifies the weak, but for the chosen ones, mystery is the armor and silence is the weapon. They watch you, they study you, not because they admire you, but because they fear what they cannot control. Your existence is a glitch in their system, a crack in their illusion of dominance. They dissect your every move, searching for weaknesses, but all they find is a fortress built on power they will never understand. You don't play by their rules, you don't fit their mold, and that haunts them more than anything. So, chosen ones, make sure to press the like button to send a signal to the algorithm that this message reaches every chosen one, the ones they fear the most. When you engage, you disrupt their system. The more we spread, the more we awaken. Let them know we are here, we are watching, and we are unshakable and chosen ones. The greatest mystery isn't buried in lost civilizations or encrypted texts. It's you. You walk among them, unseen yet unforgettable. You are the question they can't answer, the force they can't name, the storm that shakes their false reality. Ever wondered why people watch you like an unsolved puzzle? Why their curiosity borders on obsession? It's because you make them uncomfortable, not by what you do, but by what you are. Psychologists say the human brain fears what it can't categorize. That's why they investigate you like a classified experiment, like a case they can't close. You are unpredictable, and predictability is the foundation of their world. Without it, they crumble. You thrive in chaos. You walk through fire like it's a cool breeze, and that terrifies them. But here's the thing. Being chosen isn't just a gift. It's a weapon. The weight of your existence bends reality itself. You don't follow the currents, you change their direction. The energy you carry is undeniable, inescapable. It pulls people in, but it also repels the weak. It's why enemies expose themselves just by being near you. They can't help it. Your very presence turns their masks into glass. Ever notice how the ones who hate you the most seem the most obsessed? How they hover, analyze, whisper? That's not coincidence. That's fear disguised as fascination. They crave your downfall, yet they need your energy to survive. You are the sun that burns their illusions, the mirror that shows them their own emptiness. And nothing is more terrifying than being forced to see the truth. The universe doesn't choose just anyone. The power that runs through you isn't for the weak or the ordinary. You weren't made to blend in. You weren't designed to be understood by those who live in fear. And that's why they investigate. They dig, they spy, they try to figure you out, hoping that if they decode your essence, they can dismantle it. But here's their problem. You are not a formula. You are not a pattern. You are a force of nature, unpredictable, untouchable, and forces of nature don't bow to the fearful. So let them watch, let them whisper, let them try to unravel you like a conspiracy too dangerous to be left unsolved. Their desperation only proves one thing. You are the unknown that keeps them up at night. Stay silent, stay powerful, stay unreachable, and never forget, mystery is the sharpest blade, and yours is cutting deep. And you, yes, you, the one they can't stop watching. Whether you just found us or you've been standing strong in this journey, your energy is what fuels this awakening. If you're ready to step deeper into your power, to embrace the mystery that haunts them, and to wear your existence like the unsolvable enigma it is, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop the number 77 in the comments to let them know you see everything, even when they think they're unseen. And now, let's peel back the layers, step by step. If you're truly one of the chosen, you'll feel the pull to stay till the end. Because once you see the truth, there's no going back. Let's get started. Number 1. The unstoppable force of the Chosen. How your very existence threatens them. The Chosen are not seen, they are felt. And in their silence, they speak volumes that shatter every illusion around them. You are a riddle they can never solve. A storm that breaks the calm they desperately cling to. Your presence alone is enough to disrupt the balance they've carefully constructed. While others blend into the background, you stand out without trying. You don't need to speak. You don't need to make noise. Your energy does the talking for you. It's like a wave crashing against everything they've built. Silent, powerful, and unstoppable. They feel it, don't they? That unsettling force when you walk into a room. It's like the entire atmosphere shifts, and they can't figure out why. You are the enigma they can't unravel, and it's driving them crazy. They want to know who you are, what you're about, why you exist the way you do. They can't place it, can't categorize you. Your very essence shatters their need for comfort, for predictability. And that, my friend, makes you their greatest fear. People are hardwired to evaluate everything around them, especially things they can't easily understand. They look for threats, they look for advantage. And guess what? You throw off their radar completely. They can't decide if you're an ally, an enemy, or something entirely outside their control. This confusion? It's eating them alive. The human brain craves patterns. It craves certainty. But you don't fit into any pattern they know. And in the absence of that certainty, they panic. What makes it worse is that you don't even have to try. You're not out here begging for attention, demanding recognition. You simply exist, and that presence leaves a mark. The power they expect to see is loud, garish, and easy to identify. But yours? It's quiet, subtle, and undeniable. It's a constant pressure in the background, like a storm brewing just out of sight. They're waiting for the thunder, but all they hear is the silence, and that silence is deafening. So what do? They investigate. They analyze your every word, every gesture, every movement, like detectives working a high-stakes case. They break down your silence, trying to decode it, looking for any sign of weakness. But the more they dig, the less they find. You don't leave clues, you don't leave gaps. And that drives them absolutely insane. They're used to solving problems, used to uncovering secrets. But you aren't a puzzle. You're a force that rewrites the entire game, tossing aside their attempts at control. And here's the hardest pill for them to swallow. They will never understand you. No matter how hard they try, they will never decode the force you carry. The more they stare, the more desperate they become, and the more impossible it is for them to see the truth. You are not a mystery to be solved. You are a revolution in motion. The world they've built was never meant to contain you, and that fact haunts them more than any secret ever could. Your very existence is a challenge to their fragile reality, a constant reminder that there's more to this life than the rules they cling to. You are the walking embodiment of everything they fear, unpredictable, unbreakable, and untouchable, and they can't stand it. But they won't stop trying to figure you out. Even though the harder they try, the less they'll understand. So let them watch, let them study, let them analyze. It only confirms one thing: you are exactly who they can never be, and that terrifies them. Number 2. They're scared to death that you're not who they think you are. They can't figure you out because they've never seen power like yours. The truth? You're not meant to be understood, and that's what makes you dangerous to them. You know what terrifies them most? The simple fact that they can't control you. People spend their entire lives trying to fit the world into neat little boxes, labeling everything they come across to feel safe, to feel in charge. You don't fit. You're the wrench in their system, the one they can't categorize no matter how hard they try. That uncertainty about you eats at them from the inside because it's not just about figuring you out. It's about protecting their fragile perception of reality. Your existence, the very essence of what you are, challenges everything they think they know, and it burns them alive. They'll try to label you, call you one thing, then something else: hero, villain, genius, lucky. But each label slips off of you like water off a duck's back, and the more they try to pin you down, the more they fail. They can't hold on to you. They can't define you. You break every rule they've set for themselves, every mental map they've constructed to keep the world in a box. They can't stand that. They need to be right. It's how they validate their place in this world. But you shatter their need for validation. You make them question everything, and when they can't control what they see, they fight it. They start questioning themselves. Doubt creeps in, and the fear of being wrong about you becomes their constant companion. You see, the world they've built is based on the idea that if they can understand something, they can conquer it. But you slip through their fingers every time. You're the chaos in their control, the storm that rattles their perfect little world. And nothing is more terrifying to someone who thrives on control than chaos they can't understand. The more they try to figure you out, the more they realize they're failing, and that failure makes them question their own judgment. What if they've been wrong all along about everyone they've ever thought they understood? What if they've been living a lie, believing they had the world figured out, when in reality, it's as unpredictable as you are? Every time they think they've cracked your code, you turn the page and write a new chapter. 1 minute, they think they've got you figured out. They're sure they know what makes you tick. Then, out of nowhere, you do or say something that completely blows their theory out of the water. That's power. When they think they understand you, but you turn everything upside down with just one action or word, you show them that their world is far messier than they want to believe, and they can't handle it, they can't process it, and that's when they become obsessed. They can't let it go. They have to know more, they have to get the answer, but it's always just out of reach. And the fear of being wrong is like a parasite, feeding on them, gnawing at their mind, until they can't think of anything else. Here's the truth they don't want to face. They'll never understand you. No matter how hard they try, no matter how many boxes they try to shove you into, they will never, ever be able to figure you out. That's the power of being chosen. You're not meant to be understood. Your existence alone is a reminder that life is not a formula. It's unpredictable, it's messy, it's complicated, and that terrifies them because it means they can't control it. And if they can't control it, what does that say about their whole existence? You force them to look in the mirror and see the cracks in their carefully built illusion. You're not a puzzle to be solved. You're a force, a living revolution, one that turns their world upside down simply by existing. They will keep chasing, keep trying to understand, but the more they dig, the further they'll fall. They'll reach a point where they can't even remember what they were looking for in the first place, and that's the greatest victory you'll ever have. Their obsession with you is the proof of their defeat. And the most powerful part? You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to give them the answers they desperately crave. Because when you're the chosen, when you're the force that moves through the world without apology, they're forced to face a truth that shakes them to their core. They're not in control. You are. Number 3. Your past is a riddle they can never solve. They can't trace where you've been because they can't fathom where you're going. You're not their story, you're their nightmare. They're obsessed with your origins, aren't they? They want to put you in a box, trace your past like a road map and claim they understand how you got here. But with you, they fail miserably. You don't play by their rules. You don't follow the path they've set out for everyone else. And that eats them alive. They dig, they search, they try to uncover your childhood, your struggles, your every move. But the story doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. They expect a neat, linear narrative, one that follows the predictable arc of success and failure. But you break their expectations every time. They're used to a simple formula. Do this, get that. If you start with nothing, you'll end with nothing. If you come from nothing, you'll stay there, because that's what the world tells them. But you didn't follow their script. You didn't wait for permission to rise. Maybe you came from nowhere. Maybe you had no silver spoon, no connections, no handouts, and yet you stand taller than anyone they've ever known. Maybe you had no formal education, but when you speak, even the scholars fall silent. Or maybe you were told from day one that the odds were stacked against you, that you had no chance, and yet here you are, thriving, unapologetic, and undeniable. That doesn't just confuse them, it terrifies them. Because you don't just defy their expectations, you shatter their entire belief system. They've spent their lives believing that everything happens for a reason, that success can be mapped, that the world operates on a set of rules. But you've proven there are no rules when you're chosen. Your existence challenges everything they thought they knew about life and success. They thought they had it all figured out until they met you. Now they're scrambling, desperately trying to make sense of your rise, your power, your unpredictable path. But here's the thing, they'll never understand it. And that's exactly what terrifies them. You're the outlier, the anomaly, the one who doesn't make sense. And that's exactly why they're obsessed with you. They need to understand you. They need to find a reason for your success. Why you came from nothing and became everything. They don't realize that you didn't just defy their narrative, you rewrote it. They keep searching for your origin story, but they're looking in the wrong place. The truth? Your origins aren't meant to be traced. You don't have a conventional story. You are the story, the living, breathing, walking proof that their neat little rules about life don't apply to you. The more they dig, the more they realize the story they're trying to tell doesn't exist. They're holding on to a fiction, a theory that will never hold water. But the problem is, they can't stop. They keep chasing your past, like dogs chasing shadows, because the truth that they're too afraid to face is this. You are the embodiment of everything they've been told is impossible. You are living proof that you can break all the rules and still come out on top. And that's their worst nightmare. They'll spend years searching for the secret to your success, looking for clues in places you've been, people you've met, things you've done, but they will never find it. And deep down, they know it. The more they chase, the further away they get. You aren't meant to be understood. You are meant to be feared, to be revered, and to show them that their limitations don't apply to you. That's the power of being chosen. You are the glitch in their matrix. You are the force that doesn't make sense, and you're unstoppable because of it. They thought they could predict your rise. They thought they could trace your steps. But in the end, all they've done is expose their own weakness. They are trapped in their own belief systems, their own tiny little worlds that can't contain someone like you. And no matter how hard they try to make sense of it, no matter how many theories they come up with, they will never have the answer. So let them search. Let them dig through your past, your mistakes, your triumphs. Let them chase you through the endless corridors of their own limited understanding. They will never catch you. Because you are beyond their comprehension. You are a force that exists outside the lines of their logic. And the more they try to define you, the more they prove one thing: they are powerless against you. Number 4, they can't control you, so they worship you instead. When they can't own your power, they start to bow to it. They can't touch you, so they bow to the force that defines you. There's a difference between obsession and something much deeper, something that scares them more than anything else: worship. Obsession is about control, but worship is about reverence. They don't just want to know you, they want to be near you. They're not studying you to defeat you or expose you. They're studying you because they sense something that shakes them to their core, something they can't fully comprehend but desperately crave. And it terrifies them because the more they watch, the more they realize they can't have what you have. What they see in you, they can't touch. It's like they're standing on the edge of something powerful, but they can't reach it, no matter how hard they try. You carry a kind of energy, a force that defies everything they know. Maybe it's the way you glide through the chaos of life with an ease they can't explain. Maybe it's the way you walk into rooms with the silent certainty that you belong, while they fumble in the dark for their place. Maybe it's that magnetic presence you carry, like a beacon that pulls them in, only for them to realize they don't know how to handle the light. And that's what haunts them. They don't just want to figure you out. They want to be you. They want to understand the secret to your resilience, your confidence, your power. They think that if they can just unlock that secret, they'll be transformed. It's as if, by decoding your essence, they believe they'll gain access to the very force that makes you untouchable. And that's where it shifts from obsession to worship. Because when they can't control you, they turn to reverence. It's almost like a ritual. They don't even realize they're doing it, but every time they look at you, every time they study your every move, it becomes a kind of prayer. They hope, they yearn, they observe like followers watching a deity from afar, hoping that in doing so, they can absorb a little piece of what makes you unshakable. They watch you, they study you, not just to find out who you are, but to try and absorb the power you radiate. They think that by understanding you, they can tap into the same energy that keeps you moving forward, unbroken, unstoppable. But they don't realize the truth. They will never have your strength, your resilience, your certainty. They will never know what it's like to walk through life with the kind of authority you have. Because you don't get what you have by studying others. You get it by owning your power. And that's the real terror they face. Because deep down, they know they can't replicate what you carry. They can't reverse engineer your strength or your mystery. All their theorizing, their analysis, their attempts to break you down, it's just a distraction. The truth is, they're subconsciously searching for something far greater than just answers. They're searching for a divine connection. You, chosen one, are their living symbol of what's possible. You are their mirror to the universe, showing them the world they wish they could access, but know they never will. You're the embodiment of what they could be, but will never become. And that, more than anything, makes you a force to be reckoned with. Your very existence is a challenge to their limited perception of life, a reminder that there's something out there, something bigger, that they will never control. This is where their obsession becomes a problem. The more they try to absorb your energy, the more they worship you, the more they sink into the idea that you hold the answers to everything they don't have. They want to believe that by being near you, by watching you, by mimicking your every move, they can elevate themselves. But the truth, it will never happen. They will never be you. They will always be chasing what they can never possess. And in the end, that's what drives them crazy. They're caught in the cycle, forever obsessed, forever bowing to a power they can never replicate. They'll never have what you have, and that knowledge haunts them more than anything else. You don't need to do anything to make them worship you. They already do it by merely trying to understand the unexplainable force that is you. So let them keep trying. Let them keep watching, dissecting, and wishing they could be what you are. The more they worship, the stronger you become, and the more they'll fall further into their own weakness. They'll never touch your power, and deep down, they know it. That's the price they pay for being caught in your orbit. They will always be searching, but never finding. And you'll keep on walking with the grace, certainty, and strength they'll never possess. Number 5. You're a wild storm they can't calculate. They crave control. You're their nightmare because nothing about you is predictable. They want the world to make sense. They want to know that if they push a button, they'll get the same result every time. That's how they feel safe. When they know how things work, when they can predict reactions, emotions, and outcomes. They like their lives to be a series of cause and effect moments, easy to understand, easy to manage. But you're the glitch. You're the storm that hits without warning, the chaos that shatters every tidy little rule they've built to feel in control. When they think they've got you figured out, when they've read the books and studied the charts and expected a certain reaction, you show them the truth. You can't be tracked. You can't be predicted. You're not a part of their tidy little world. And that, it drives them insane. They need you to conform. They need to know what comes next. But you defy every rule they think they know, and that frightens them. They push your buttons, waiting for you to snap, to react the way they expect. They think they've got you pegged. If they push, you'll fold. If they challenge you, you'll fight back. But instead, you stand still, silent, unreadable. Your silence isn't weakness, it's strength. It's an ocean of mystery that they can't swim through. You don't give them the answers they crave, and that's where their investigation breaks down. When they expect anger, you laugh. When they want you to engage in their drama, you simply walk away. Your unpredictability isn't just unsettling, it's a weapon. Every time they try to push you into a corner, you find a way to escape, and that drives them crazy. They can't track your thought patterns, can't anticipate your next move, and that makes you dangerous. Here's what they don't realize. People who think in straight lines fear those who think in spirals. They live in a world of black and white logic, where everything follows a pattern, a predictable course. You, though, you live in the shades of gray. You don't just break the rules. They don't apply to you. You don't follow anyone's lead. You create your own path. And that terrifies them, because the more they try to figure you out, the further they slip into confusion. The more they push, the more they fail. They think they can predict your reactions based on their own experiences. They expect to manipulate, to control, to box you in. But they don't realize that your mind doesn't work like theirs. You don't operate in cause and effect. You act on instinct, intuition, and sometimes pure chaos. And that's the key to your power. You are unpredictable because you refuse to conform. And that makes you a force they can't control. The fact that they can't figure you out is not just an inconvenience for them, it's a threat. It forces them to face the truth they've been ignoring. The world isn't as simple as they want to believe. There's no straight line to follow. There are no rules. Life isn't a math equation they can solve. It's a mystery, one that you're living, breathing, and showing them every single day. They need to believe that they can predict every outcome. They need to believe that everyone plays by the same rules, reacts the same way, behaves the same. But you're the exception. You are the proof that life is messy. You are the wild card that unsettles everything they thought they knew. And when they can't predict your next move, they panic. They need to know that they are in control, but you've shown them that control doesn't exist. You're not just defying expectations, you're rewriting the entire playbook. And that's why they're obsessed with figuring you out. They can't understand how someone like you operates. They need you to fit into their neat little narrative so they can feel safe again. But you won't let them. You'll keep pushing the boundaries, making the rules as you go, and shattering their illusions of control. That's the power of being chosen. You're not a puzzle to be solved. You're a force that cannot be contained. They will never predict you, never control you, and no matter how many times they try to make sense of your actions, they will always fall short. Because you're not meant to be figured out. You're meant to shake the foundation of everything they thought they knew. You are unpredictable, and that's what makes you unstoppable. Number 6. You don't just exist. You force them to face themselves. They can't stand what they see in you, because it's everything they refuse to see in themselves. They watch you, don't they? They look at you like you're something to be figured out, something to be dissected. But here's the thing. What they're really trying to uncover isn't just about you. It's about them. They look at you, and instead of seeing you for who you are, they see everything they wish they could be, everything they refuse to be. Your very existence forces them to confront the shadows they've been trying to bury for years. You hold up a mirror they didn't ask for, but desperately need. And when they see what's reflected back at them, they're discomforted, even terrified. You don't have to do anything. Just by being who you are, you trigger something inside of them, something raw, something painful. Maybe it's the confidence you exude, the kind they wish they could summon. Maybe it's the way you walk through life, unapologetically chasing your dreams, while they remain stuck in a job they despise, caged by their own fear. Or maybe it's the authenticity you carry with you, the truth that radiates from you, making them face the fact that they've been faking it their whole lives. Whatever it is, you hit them where it hurts. The problem isn't you, it's them. It's what you represent, the stark contrast between who you are and who they're too afraid to become. And instead of facing their own discomfort, they project it onto you. They'll try to tear you down, scrutinize your every move, looking for flaws, anything they can latch onto, hoping that if they can prove you're not as perfect as they imagine, they can feel better about themselves. If they can find some weakness in you, it'll justify their own insecurities. They won't have to confront the fact that they're stuck, that they're not living the life they truly want. It's easier to attack you than it is to face their own shadows. But here's the harsh truth. The flaws they're trying to find in you, they're inside them. They're not looking at your imperfections. They're looking at the parts of themselves they refuse to face. The discomfort they feel when they see you isn't about you at all. It's about their own unresolved pain. They can't stand how you shine, how you chase what you want, how you stand unapologetically in your truth. It makes them realize that they've been lying to themselves, hiding in the shadows of their own unfulfilled dreams. And that truth, it burns. They're afraid that you will outshine them, that your authenticity will expose the mask they've been wearing for years. Your very presence reminds them of the dreams they gave up on, the passions they buried, the confidence they never had. And instead of owning that pain, instead of confronting their own fears, they choose to lash out at you. But it doesn't stop there, does it? The more they watch, the more they become obsessed, not with you, but with the possibility of tearing you down. They think that if they can find a crack in your armor, a flaw in your story, They can destroy the image of you they've built in their minds. If they can prove you're just as flawed as they are, they can cling to the belief that they're just as normal as everyone else, that they're not failing, that they're not falling short. But here's the bitter pill. They're not normal. They're not living their truth. They're trapped by their own fear, their own shadows, and the more they try to diminish you, the more they expose the truth about themselves. The more they attack you, the more they confirm what they already know deep down. You're living proof that they can have more, do more, and be more, but they're too scared to take the leap. They'll search for flaws, analyze every part of your life, hoping to find something that will take you down a notch. But in the end, all they're doing is digging their own grave, because they're not just attacking you. They're attacking the very idea that they can change, that they can step into their own power. And the more they try to prove you're just like them, the more they reveal how much they're not. You're a mirror to their brokenness, and the more they look into it, the more they see what they've been avoiding all along: their own fears, their own regrets, their own lack of action. They can't stand the truth you reflect back at them, because it exposes everything they've failed to do, everything they've been too scared to confront. And so they fixate on you, not because they hate you, but because they're haunted by the possibility of what they could have been if they had the courage to walk the same path you're on. Number 7. Your silence is the noise that eats them alive. When you don't speak, the world fills the silence with their own fears, and that's the power of being chosen. You don't have to say a word for them to crumble. It's incredible, isn't it? How your silence, the very thing they crave answers from, can be louder than the loudest scream. You don't have to say a single word, and yet you speak volumes. Every second you choose not to explain, not to validate their curiosities, you create a void. And what happens in that void? Their insecurities rise to the surface. Their wildest fears and deepest doubts come pouring out. Your silence doesn't just create space, it disturbs them. It fractures their reality and forces them to confront a truth they can't escape. They don't know you. They can't control you. And that is terrifying. What they don't realize is that your silence isn't a weapon. It's a reflection. Every time you withhold, every time you refuse to let them in, they're left to fill the gaps with their own projections. Their own insecurities take root, and suddenly you become a mystery they can't unravel. They replay every moment you've shared, every interaction, trying to decipher something that isn't even there. Why didn't you respond? What were you thinking? Did you reject them? Or worse yet, are you hiding something they'll never know? And here's the crazy part. All of these questions, all of this paranoia, reveals more about them than it does about you. Their minds spin, creating elaborate stories to explain your silence, crafting entire narratives to make sense of what they can't grasp. They'll twist it, turn it, magnify it, and in doing so, they build their own prisons. They put themselves in chains, trying to figure out your mind, and the more they try, the further they get from the truth. You aren't withholding anything from them. You're simply existing, untouched by their need for validation. But to them, it's as if your silence holds the power to unravel everything they know about themselves. Your silence doesn't just speak. It commands attention. It's magnetic. The longer you stay quiet, the louder their fears echo in the silence you've left behind. They'll ask themselves over and over, why hasn't the chosen one given me what I want? What are they hiding? But the truth is, they'll never get the answers. They'll never understand why you remain still, why you hold your ground in a world that thrives on noise. Your silence, your refusal to give them anything becomes their downfall. It cracks their minds open, leaving them with nothing but their own insecurities to grapple with. And that's the brilliance of being chosen. You don't have to lift a finger to make them destroy themselves. The irony here is that the more they obsess, the more they spiral, the more they become trapped in their own heads. They are playing detective, trying to crack a code that isn't even there. They can't grasp the concept that your power lies not in your words, but in your lack of them. They want a clue, they want an explanation, but you don't owe them any. And the longer you stay quiet, the more power you hold over them. Their minds race, their paranoia grows, and all the while you remain calm, collected, and in control. The longer you let them spin their wheels in the silence, the more they unravel themselves. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to reveal your thoughts, your plans, your intentions. You are not a puzzle to be solved, and your silence only reinforces that. You are untouchable. Your ability to withhold, to stay still, to remain unbothered while they drown in their own speculation is your greatest strength. They can't read you, they can't predict you, and that's exactly why they're obsessed. They want to figure you out. They want to find meaning in what you refuse to give them, but all they'll ever find is their own weakness. Their paranoia becomes their prison. Your silence isn't just a lack of noise, it's a force. It's a declaration that you are above their petty need for understanding. You don't need to explain your every move. They'll never understand you, and that drives them insane. They will keep asking themselves, keep analyzing, keep speculating, but it will never matter. The silence you hold is your ultimate power. It's what keeps them in the dark while you stand in the light, unaffected by their chaos. And as long as you remain quiet, they will continue to fill the void with their own fears, spiraling deeper into their obsession. You, the chosen, are the one who has the power to create chaos simply by not engaging with it. Your silence is the fire that burns their foundations, and they will never be able to put out the flames. They will search for answers in your quiet, but all they'll find is their own confusion. And that, my friend, is the brilliance of your silence. It's the most powerful weapon they'll never see coming. Number 8. The quiet force that drives them crazy. You don't need to scream to be heard. Your silence is louder than their noise, and that scares them to death. They can't figure you out, and it's driving them mad. You're not the loudest in the room, not the most attention-grabbing. In fact, you don't even try to stand out, and yet they can't stop wondering about you. Why does this person matter so much? Why do they care when you're not fighting for their attention? That question, unanswered and persistent, is a nightmare they can't escape. Because deep down, they know something. They know they can't shake you. Here's what drives them wild. They're used to the formula for importance. Be loud, be flashy, be the center of attention, demand their eyes, demand their ears. That's how influence works, right? That's how you rise to the top, according to them. But you break that rule without even trying. You don't scream for attention. You don't flash your success. And yet, without lifting a finger, you capture their attention completely. You don't even need to ask for it, but you have it. And they can't make sense of it. Your quiet confidence, your silent power, is a force they can't explain. They shout and scream for validation, but they can't make the room listen the way you do. The more they talk, the less they matter. You don't demand to be seen, but the world sees you. You don't beg for respect, but it follows you. That is what eats at them. The very idea that you can command influence without ever lifting a finger. They don't understand how it works. In their world, people need to fight for attention, need to scream for validation. But You exist in a space where just being you is enough. Your presence is your power. You are the calm in their storm, the stillness that leaves them restless. They cannot silence you because your silence speaks louder than their constant noise. And here's what truly terrifies them. They can't dismiss you. They want to. They want to label you, define you, shove you into their limited understanding of how things should be. But they can't. You break every rule they thought they knew about success and influence. You don't need to be the loudest. You don't need to be the most demanding. You simply exist, and that is more than enough. It's a paradox they can't solve. They scream, they beg, they make noise just to be heard. But all they do is drown out their own voice. And then there's you, quiet, composed, and yet you resonate in ways they can't explain. You don't follow the script, and it terrifies them because they can't control what they don't understand. So let them keep shouting, keep demanding. Your silence will always be the louder voice in the room. You are the force that can't be denied, the power that doesn't need to be advertised. And that's exactly why they'll never stop wondering about you. They'll never understand how you hold so much influence without ever needing to ask for it. Your quiet force is their worst nightmare, and they know it. Number 9. They can't predict you because you don't follow their rules. When they can't find the pattern, they lose their minds trying to create one. You are the glitch in their perfect system, and they're terrified of it. They can't figure you out, and it's driving them insane. People are obsessed with patterns, with understanding the world in a way that makes them feel safe, in control. They like to believe that if they can predict your next move, they'll know how to handle you. They try to categorize your decisions, your actions, your relationships, and build a narrative that they can comprehend. But every time they try, they hit a wall. They fail. Because you don't fit their rules. They think they have you figured out, but with you, the rules don't apply. Your chaos wrapped in intention confounds them. Every decision you make, every step you take seems to fly in the face of their expectations, their carefully constructed formulas. You're unpredictable, and that's something they can't handle. The harder they try to define you, the more frustrated they become. You are the puzzle that has no solution, the riddle that doesn't have an answer. What you do doesn't make sense in their world, because they've lived their whole lives believing in structure, in cause and effect. They think they can map out the world if they can just find the key. But with you, the key doesn't exist. They want to believe that your actions follow some kind of predetermined path, but they can't place you in a box. They can't predict the next move. You don't follow their structure, you create your own, and that's the source of their frustration. They want to control the narrative, but you are the force that rips the pages from their book. And that terrifies them. The world they've constructed is based on the assumption that everything can be understood. Everything can be categorized. When you break that, they feel powerless. They start to question their entire worldview, their own ability to predict and control. The more they analyze you, the more they spiral, because every answer leads to more questions. You are the chaos they can't define, the pattern they can't find. They try to make sense of you, but in the process, they realize something deeper. They can't control you. Here's the thing. They're scared. Scared of what happens when they can't put everything into neat little boxes. Your unpredictability shakes their foundation, and that's a threat they don't know how to combat. They want to believe they can control the world around them, that they can predict everything and everyone. But you're the storm that tears down their illusion of control, and they can't even see it coming. They're left scrambling, searching for answers that will never come, because they're looking for a pattern that doesn't exist. So let them search. Let them try to analyze, to dissect, to understand you. Every time they fail, it only strengthens your power over them. Because the truth is, they'll never figure you out. You don't play by their rules. You create your own reality. And the more they try to predict you, the more they'll fail. They'll keep looking for patterns in your chaos. But the only pattern that remains is their inability to predict anything at all. And that's exactly how you stay one step ahead. Number 10. They can't buy you, and they can't control you. They try to break you, but you are the breaking point. Unbought, unbossed and free. They fear your power because it's a freedom they'll never know. In a world that thrives on labels, titles, and the constant pursuit of validation, you stand as a living rebellion. People are so hungry for approval from systems, from institutions, from the world around them. They fight to be seen, to be recognized, to fit in. But you've never played by their rules. You don't bow to trends, you don't chase influence, and you sure as hell don't need their permission to be who you are. And that, right there, is the root of their fear. You see, your freedom is a threat. Not because it's something they can't take from you, but because it's something they'll never understand. They're trapped in their little worlds of validation and approval, suffocated by expectations they didn't choose. And you float above it all. You walk through the noise of their insecurities without even flinching. And they want to know how you did it. They can't figure out how you escaped the invisible chains that bind everyone else, because they've been trying to break free their entire lives and failed. So they investigate. They look at your every move, your every decision, trying to find the exact moment you broke from the pack. Was there a breaking point for you? Did you reject the system from the start, or did you rise above it gradually? But the truth, they'll never know. You didn't need a reason to break free. You weren't waiting for some grand moment of clarity or a permission slip from the world. You've always been free, and your freedom isn't something they can understand or replicate. They search for the answers in your past, your actions, your choices. But the truth is, you don't owe anyone an explanation. What scares them is that you found power in your refusal to be controlled. You don't need their approval to move forward, and that makes you untouchable. In a world where people crave to be recognized, where power is measured by likes, followers, and titles, you stand outside of all that. You are the embodiment of something they can't buy, can't manipulate, and can't control. And that, my friend, is their greatest fear. Your power lies in your indifference to the systems that try to define you. They don't see your strength, but they feel it. It's in your every action, your every decision. It's the way you stand tall without needing anyone's validation, and it terrifies them. They want to know how you do it, how you stay unbought, unbossed, and untouchable. But the answer is simple. You were never meant to fit in, never meant to be bought. They'll keep trying, keep digging, but they'll never find the secret to your power because it's not something they can possess. It's not something anyone can teach them. You were born free, and that's the truth that will haunt them forever. Number 11. Your authenticity is the threat they can't escape. In a world of masks, you are the reflection they can't look away from. Authenticity should be a gift, something everyone strives for, but in a world built on facades, it's a threat. You don't wear masks, you don't play the game, you don't seek approval, and you certainly don't mold yourself to fit their narrow expectations. That's why they can't stop staring. They watch you live unapologetically, unashamed of who you are, and it drives them insane. Because deep down, they envy you. They envy the fact that you don't need anyone's permission to be yourself. You don't need validation from the world to stand tall. And that kind of freedom is a threat to everything they've built their lives around. Your authenticity exposes the fragility of their own existence. They spend every day trying to fit into boxes, pretending to be someone they're not. And you exist outside of all of that. You don't fit in because you were never meant to. You are a walking revolution, challenging everything they think they know about identity and self-worth. You live without compromise, and that terrifies them. They try to figure you out. They investigate you, dissecting every word, every movement, trying to understand how you can exist with such raw, unfiltered power. But they can't, because your authenticity isn't a puzzle to be solved. It's a mirror they can't look into without confronting their own lack of truth. And that's what makes you dangerous. So let them keep watching. Let them study. The more they analyze, the more they'll realize. They'll never be able to live the way you do. The truth is, your authenticity is their greatest fear, and that's why they can never leave you alone. Number 12. They'll never break the code you carry. They try to decode you, but you are a puzzle with no answer. Your wisdom isn't for them, it's your weapon. There's something about you that frightens them, something deep within you that they can't put their finger on. It's not arrogance, it's not superiority. It's a quiet, unshakable wisdom that radiates from you like a force field, and they can feel it. They sense it in the way you move, in the silence you carry, in the way you seem to always have the answers before they even ask the question. They know you hold truths they'll never understand, and that scares them to their core. They dig, they investigate, they search for a way to unlock whatever it is you possess. But here's the thing, they can't. Your spiritual code is encrypted, and you've made sure of it. You don't hand out pieces of your soul to anyone. You don't overshare. You don't allow others to pry into the deepest parts of who you are. That is your power, the ability to remain a mystery, even to those who try to understand you the most. The more they try to figure you out, the more frustrated they become. They want access to your knowledge, to your energy, to your truths, but they'll never get it. That's the magic of being chosen. You are a living enigma, a force they will never be able to dissect. The more they try, the more they expose their weakness. They crave what they can't have, and that is exactly why you are untouchable. They can study you for a lifetime, but in the end, they will only find one truth. They will never crack your code. The truth is, they'll never truly understand you. They'll never control what you've become, and they'll never capture your full power. All they can do is watch, and in the end, you'll leave them in awe of what they could never comprehend. So, stay unshakable. If you're ready to embrace your greatness, like, subscribe, drop 77 in the comments, and share this message with others who need to hear it. Let's spread this power together.